Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is August 6, 2017. My name's Eric Peterson. Joining me today, Mr. Mike Tyson.
Good day, everyone.
Good day, sir.
Oh, how are you on this fine day?
Just peachy.
Oh, very good. Have you burnt your foot in any coffee today?
No. I make my coffee a tad cooler. And to make a habit of not pouring the grounds on my feet.
Well,
He just poured it over his head today.
Yeah. I went for the burn on the back of the neck. We got Mr. Dan Curtis.
Greetings and salutations, good women.
Salutations. The finest of Sunday mornings to you, sir.
Oh, top hail to you. Good day, sir.
Quite.
I'm so posh I can't even speak correctly.
I feel like there's something...
Which reminds me, gentlemen, I actually received a telegram in the mail today from a gentleman called Jeeves III, which simply states that Master Yomas shall not be able to attend the show this week because he is indisposed, looking at exploding telephones in Poland.
Ooh. No, he's not in Poland right now.
He is.
No, he's not.
It's not?
He is.
No.
I thought he was.
No, he said work was sending him to Poland, but they were giving him more notice on it. I think he's just on a vacation.
He was in a country house thing, wasn't he?
Yeah.
With really ridiculous rules.
And
I thought that was a Poland country house.
Well, who knows if it's in Poland? I mean, he could go to Poland on vacation, but I don't think he's there for work right now.
Anyway, the guy's not here.
That's 2 shows in a row someone hasn't been here that we've announced it immediately. Come on.
Yomas fans, turn off right now.
It's almost like there's some professionalism.
Yeah. Mike, what have you done to us?
Oh, what can I say?
Mike enhanced this show.
Oh, he beat me to it. Check off your bingo cards, people.
Goodness.
Get it?
No, you can't ruin all of it right away.
Someone sat at home already going, line!
They're just stamping shit off. They're like, all right, get them shots ready.
And now put another line through the bingo jar.
I saved this show.
Quite.
Let's get all the shit out of the way right now. Well, let's pull up that bingo card. Where is it?
We'll have nothing left.
Hey, there's a prize going on this.
I do feel like that we have to play some fashion of Factory Seal Bingo in London.
What, listening to past shows?
Can we actually go to a real bingo hall and then get them to play it?
I mean, let's look at this. We'll definitely have drunk Eric. There will definitely be Bert and Edna. A lot of Get It. Mountains of toilet humor. I don't know about Tom being present for the show despite us being in his living room.
Yeah, we'll just turn up at his flat and he'll have left us the keys and just won't be there.
Mike will surely say something highly offensive.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll all be eating American biscuits.
And I will just save the show.
No. Nah.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
How much would it, or what would it take for me to bring Kingdom Hearts 2 overseas for you to open?
No, you said that he could do it if he goes to yours. You can't.
Yeah, I'm not going against the deal.
Deal.
It has to be done with great ceremony at your house.
Unless you buy another copy whilst you're over here.
I don't want to spend a ton of money on a sealed one. Or
A ton of PS2 games are cheap as chips over here now. You'll be fine.
yeah, but
gonna have
sealed?
I don't know.
Nah.
Let's have a Google.
We could put it in some cling film for you.
Yeah, I'll just put it in tinfoil or something. Kingdom Hearts 2 sealed, $200. Dan, you're not opening it.
Because you're ever going to sell it.
Look at this. Kingdom Hearts 2 hollow foil cover, which is the one I have. $200.
Sell it!
No, I'd rather let it collect dust.
He's such a bastard.
As well as value.
Yeah,
Just
see?
buy the HD collection already and play it.
No.
Kingdom Hearts 18.6 flippity gibbet my jobs.
See, the thing is, I will actually buy Kingdom Hearts 3 and have no idea what's going on, but playing 2 will not help me in the least.
Eric,
Nobody knows what's going on Kingdom Hearts.
What, Mike?
I was just saying what Dan was just said. You won't understand anyway.
The people who make Kingdom Hearts do not know what is happening on Kingdom Hearts.
Just keep the ruse going.
I honestly don't know how you're meant to make sense of that series. It's all over the place.
Well, especially when you jump into things like Dream Drop Distance and Birth by Sleep and 365 divided by 2 days.
And then the ones where, like, you have a mobile game, which was out for about 2 weeks.
Did they pull it?
I think so.
Pull
it!
Same wavelength.
I've been hanging around with you guys too long.
Ugh. God, it only gets worse from here, Mike.
Yes, you might get to Drooling Simpleton level within the year.
It only took Dan about a year to hit that.
Mm-hmm.
You mean he wasn't already?
He was drooling. Well, he wasn't
quite clever.
Yeah. Let's not go that far.
No, that's rude. How dare you? How dare you?
Ouch! My feelings.
Oh, right in the feels. Or is that fish, Mike? I'm not for sure.
What?
What? What?
That Katy Perry song where it's like...
Oh, God, yeah. She does. That's what she sings.
She does.
What?
Don't be afraid to catch fish.
Allegedly, she's got this song called "Don't Be Afraid to Catch Feels."
Is that what she actually sings?
Yeah,
that is apparently what she says.
But
it actually every time sounds like she goes, "Don't be afraid to catch fish."
Also, right, the video was on at the gym the other day, and in the video there is a guy performing part of the song on a beach, which just leads me further to believe that she's definitely saying fish.
I agree.
Like, because if he's stranded on a beach, don't be afraid to catch fish. The system works.
That's not a Katy Perry. Isn't that the Calvin Harris song?
Yeah, that's the one.
She's the one who sings about fish, so...
Well, maybe they're stranded on a desert island, and...
He's afraid to catch fish.
Yeah.
So I just had to sing a song at it.
I mean, there's some weird phobias out there.
Oh, I'm not catching fish, no.
I'll eat it, but I won't catch it. It's all wiggly and wet.
So dumb.
If you did like that song, Dan, 1, you're an idiot, and 2, I'm sorry for ruining it for you.
But mainly number 1, you're an idiot.
Yeah, mainly
number 3, rethink your life. Goddamn.
Oh man. Well, according to one of the reviewers, everyone needs to rethink their life.
Hush.
Yes. How is everyone this week?
I'm absolutely marvelous. I escaped from a room yesterday. Well, I nearly did.
Nearly. So you failed.
You're
yes,
still
I
there.
failed. Let me out! No, we got right to the end. We were in one of these escape room things. We got right to the end. We had about 20 seconds left. We had to put in the code for the door to get out, and we failed. I was so good at it.
How many people were in there with you?
4.
Did you know them all?
Yes.
Oh. You should do it with random strangers.
I think we should do it. We'd screw up entirely.
That would be a ton of fun. Was there a theme to it, or was it just a
random
one?
It was a laboratory room.
Ooh. How long were you in there?
After 60 minutes, the room fills with gas, apparently.
I like that you guys called it Crystal's Maze.
Yeah, that was my idea. We're all sat round going, nobody could think of a team name. Nobody wants to suggest anything in case they look stupid. So I just took the card and just wrote Crystal's Maze. I was like, brilliant.
I like it. Was that one of those escape rooms that have the things that randomly explode around you and stuff as well?
Oh no, it wasn't that high tech.
All right.
Basically, you went in and it was dark, and there was a laser tripwire. You had to disarm the tripwire, and then you had to unlock a computer with hacking by finding a USB stick. But you had to do that. You had to solve loads of different puzzles, like taking off padlocks and things like that. It was pretty.
There wasn't an
fun.
Ethernet cable involved, was there?
No. Because you would blow up that computer straight away.
Oh, dear. No, I remember I was in Budapest in Hungary a few years back, and I was staying at this hostel, and one of the lasses that worked at the hostel overheard that me and the person I was with were going to Bucharest, and she basically they had another business over there that did one of those escape rooms with all the little explosions and stuff in them. And she gave us these like packs and packs and packs of little tiny gas canisters to take with us. And it made us get a discount at the next hostel. So I felt like we were taking contraband across the border. Taking these tiny little gas canisters in the bottom of our bags. It wasn't illegal, but I like to think it was.
The gas didn't go off on ours because basically I went with Crystal's sister's friend and her daughter, and Crystal's sister's friend has asthma, so we couldn't have the gas go off. I was like, come on.
There's always one, isn't there?
There's always
Got to ruin it for everyone. So there's apparently a video game themed one. I was right; it was a Legend of Zelda one.
Oh wow!
And it was in Phoenix in February, and I missed it.
Do you have to build a shit Triforce?
I don't know. Oh, hey now. Let's not foreshadow.
Calm down. That's for the end of the show.
Let's not foreshadow a little too much.
Make sure you keep listening to hear all about that later on.
I suppose we do need to find ways to entice people to make it to the end of the show. It was also in London.
Please don't leave. It gets better.
It really doesn't. It was in London in July as well.
It should be in October, I believe.
Yeah, how dare they? Do they not know who we are?
So here is the synopsis. It's up to you and your team to become defenders of the Triforce, ally with Princess Zelda and the inhabitants of Hyrule, and obtain the Master Sword. That's it.
That sounds pretty easy.
It's in that stone. Go pull it out.
Do I get to use the Sheikah slate to turn the room upside down and stuff?
No, too many people died last time.
Oh, okay. It's no fun then.
Mm-mm.
Can I have the that really jolly marketplace music from Ocarina of Time playing on my phone the entire time? You know, the ding 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 ding.
Then me and Eric just spinning round in a circle. Look like Gorpy for looks at our faces like
ha ha ha, we're in love.
Tom dressed as a cuckoo in the background.
I want to dress up as Tingle. Come on.
Is Tingle in Ocarina of Time?
No,
I don't
but
think so.
we can cross over.
No, we can't.
I want to be Tingle.
You're not being Tingle. Tingle's weird.
Oh, the glove fits.
Tingle looks like the kind of person who touches people.
Hey, come here. I got a stick. I'm going to poke you.
Oh, let Tingle touch you.
Let me give you the tingle.
Are you feeling tingly?
I tried VR for the first time, by the way.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, that was good fun.
How was the VR pornography?
VR, right?
It was the PSVR. So I don't know if you guys remember on the Shadowrun show I mentioned that there's that video game like bar / cafe thing opened in Lincoln.
Yeah.
Aikido it's called. Hazel and I went to check it out. It's fucking awesome, by the way. But they have a PSVR set up there. And it's £10 for every half hour, but obviously if there's a group for you, that's cheap as hell. And they set it all up for you. They have the Move controllers and everything to go with it. And me and Hazel basically played. It's that Until Dawn one. Is it Drown in Blood? I think it's called the shooter where you're like in the roller coaster cart.
Don't know.
You're in a roller coaster cart, and the first bit's like a tutorial where you're just hitting targets and stuff. But then as it goes through, you go through like a horror house and everything. Basically just shooting everything. Not having played any VR at all, and not really been interested in it, I was blown away. It was so good. I mean, you look down towards where your legs would be, and you can see like there's legs there that are stationary, and you feel like they're yours. And as you're going up and down on the actual roller coaster, I was stood up playing it, and yeah, I nearly fell over. But yeah, really good fun. If anyone has a chance to give it a go.
I was spoiled with VR at first because I'd played the HTC Vive before the PSVR came out, so kind of it's a step down. But for people that haven't played VR before, PSVR is a great entry point.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to rush out and spend £200 to £300 on VR, but it was, it's as an experience to kind of have a go, and I'll probably go back there again and play it again, but I'm not looking at buying it.
If they have Fantastic Contraption, that's one of the best VR games I've ever played.
Is that on the PSVR?
They just released it on there, which is kind of a huge point of like, I may want to buy this now because I don't want to invest all the time and money into an HTC Vive, because then you got to have it set up with your computer, and if you want to play it downstairs, you got to move your computer and all this shit, and then set it up with all these extra sensors. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of setup.
I think that Keep Talking Nobody Explodes would be good fun in VR.
It's a ton of fun. I have it on my phone because I have the Pixel and I have the Google Daydream, and it's a ton of fun in VR.
I can imagine. That was a great... I don't know if you've seen it, Mike. Basically, it's one person has to try and disarm a bomb while their friends have the manual, but they don't have access to the manual, the person who disarms the bomb. So you have to rely on your friends to communicate how to disarm the bomb while you're doing it.
Oh, yeah, I have seen this.
And me and Eric actually played it transatlantically.
It's a ton of fun.
Awesome.
And it was so fun. It was so stressful, but it was so good.
I think I saw some YouTubers that did a real life version of it. So they made the case and everything. And yeah, but I have seen the video game version, obviously, and yeah, it does look like good fun. I'd love to play it.
I just discovered that we actually have an arcade bar a few miles from my house called Cobra Arcade Bar. And some of my buddies were heading out there last night, and apparently it's pretty sweet. I posted a link to a guy in some super tight pants.
They are some tight pants.
I feel like those are becoming quite popular now. I'd never really heard of them until that Aikido one that you were talking about.
We were ahead of the times, guys.
When you guys come to Lincoln for the wedding, you guys are coming down the Friday, right?
Yes.
Is that the plan at the moment? Yeah. If we can get time for it, I'll take you to it. It's only a little place, but it's been open a few months, but it already has kind of like a good community there. We went in specifically to try the VR, and we went there specifically for that, and we were at the bar, and they basically keep all the games behind the bar, and when you go to hire out a console to play it, they give they say what games you want. You can take as many down if you want, and there was other people around who obviously go in there quite a bit to drink and play games. And straight away, one of the guys was like, "Oh, you've never played the VR? Yeah, you definitely need to play this one." And I was like, "Well, I really want to try Resident Evil 7 because I haven't played it yet." And he was like, "Well, it takes a while to get going. Like, honestly, you want to play the Until Dawn. If you're just doing it for the experience, and you're only going to get half an hour's worth, then play that." And there was just really everyone around there was just. It was good fun, and really, really nice community.
They have a bunch of arcade cabinets in there too, right?
Yeah. So they've got these arcade cabinets set up. They're essentially just running emulators.
Oh, so they're not the actual cabinets.
Yeah, so they're not. But and they've got you can play 2 players on them. They've got the joystick, the old school like joystick with the 6 buttons and everything like that. But there's thousands and thousands and thousands of games on them.
Are they free?
No, basically the VR is I think it was something like £10 for half an hour. I think it was, and any other consoles or anything you play, it's £2 per. I can't remember if it's an hour or half hour. But if there's a group of you, that's nothing at all.
How do they regulate that? Or do you just rent out a machine?
You just rent out a machine, and then once you're bored of that one, if you want to go onto a different one, you just tell them, and they basically alter what you're on in the book, so you run up a tab, basically. It's not a very big place. But on there, there was so many ROMs on there. So there was like several different Atari systems, obviously PlayStation, SNES, NES, Master System, Mega Drive. There was Neo Geo, there was Virtua Boy, all sorts on there.
So that now, go ahead.
With them being obviously just emulated, there are some that are obviously going to be unplayable because you haven't got enough buttons. So if you play a PlayStation game, for example, that uses all shoulder buttons and all the 4 face buttons, you haven't got enough buttons to play it. But I mean, you're not there to play big games like that. You're there as a kind of arcade feel, aren't you? I mean, me and Hazel played some Street Fighter and a bit of the arcade game version of Terminator 2. We played a bit of that. That was good fun.
So that begs the question about the legality of something like this on a couple fronts. If you buy a game, I think it's explicitly written in there that you can't rent it out. Because like with movies, there will be a rental copy. So if you buy a disc from a Redbox or something like that, it'll say rental copy. It won't have any of the bonus features or anything like that. And then with emulators, those are already in a legal gray area as it is. And then charging people to play them
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'd be curious about that.
Yeah, but I mean, as well as those, they have all of the consoles and stuff. Or majority of them are downstairs, and there's 2 flat screens that have PS4, Xbox One. I think they may have had a PS3 down there as well. I'm not sure. And then I've also got a big projector screen, which has a PS4, an Xbox One, and a Switch attached to.
Oh, nice.
So when I went down there was a couple of guys playing ARMS on the Switch, and I was watching them play, and that was good fun. They have like regular tournaments there and stuff as well. So like they had a Tekken 7 tournament this week, and on a
See,
Thursday
Eric,
night.
what they're doing over here now as well is in some game stores they have a thing called Game Beyond, which is basically like a setup of computers and consoles and things, and you can pay a flat fee to pay on them for a while. And it's just, I don't know, I just don't think people will use it much. I've seen it in the Metro Centre near me, and it never seems to be particularly busy.
Well, going back to Eric's question about legality, about, you said about rental copies and stuff like that. Ignore the emulator stuff aside. If Game are doing it, then charging people to be able to sit and play it as almost in a rental sense, that must be legal if Game are doing it.
I guess so.
Yeah,
I wonder if they're paying a royalty of it, though.
I'm not sure.
But
yeah, it's a good little place.
I think they're just trying anything to stay in business at the moment.
Apart from lowering their prices.
Yes. God forbid.
But no, I'll definitely take you guys there. It's good fun. Really, really, like, everyone there was really nice and everything, and yeah, it's a good time.
Sounds good.
It's nice to see something like that in Lincoln, because Lincoln doesn't have anything like that as well.
They have a 1,000-year-old cathedral.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's done his research.
If I had one criticism of the place, I mean, me and Hazel, all the consoles were in use downstairs, and upstairs near the bar there was just an N64 sat there. I was like, oh yeah, well, do you want to go play that for a bit? So we went on there, and as soon as we said about that, the guy was like, well, just most of the decent games are probably the guys downstairs are already playing it. That was it. Yeah, it was an N64 downstairs as well. So like they'd already taken things like Smash and Mario Kart and all the things that you'd want to play. So like my one criticism would be they should probably let people just take one game at a time rather than just giving them a pile of games to go down to the console.
Oh yeah,
because it stops others. Yeah, that'd be my own criticism, but it was no big deal. We sat and played some Mario.
Well, maybe
Kart.
over time they'll accumulate a library of more than one of each.
Yeah, but it was good fun. Just sat there playing on N64, drinking some beer, listening to people chat about games, and it's really, really nice atmosphere. I enjoyed it.
Nice. Put it on the list.
They should pipe our podcast in.
Oh God.
God.
We want them to stay in business.
Can you imagine just sit there playing N64 and then all of a sudden just above you somewhere you just hear, get it!
What?
So also I mentioned this to you guys, but for the listeners, during my wedding, that obviously there is going to be photos from, there is also a sausage fest going on across the road.
Not wait.
Oh, yeah.
So Lincoln has, I think it's every year, this like big festival at the castle grounds that's just about sausages. Yeah, don't ask me why, but every year there's always this like giant sausage like walking around, like just a guy in a big like sausage suit. And I've told Hazel that she has to try and get a photo of herself with the giant sausage in her wedding dress.
Is there going to be a break between the ceremony and the reception where we could meander over to Sausageville?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Is there any chance we could get a picture of Hazel straddling the sausage?
Yeah.
Hello? Oh.
I was going to say, wait a minute. I want to straddle the sausage.
I don't know, will it be classed as assault?
Depends if we should get permission first.
Yeah, not if he...
Hello, sir, we understand you're the giant sausage. Would you mind if this guy's new wife straddled you at all?
Could you lay down?
No, that's fine. People like to straddle me all the time.
And if we can't get that, then we need a group picture of us straddling the cannon.
Oh yeah, that can easily be done. So, like, as soon as because there'll be like security around the front near there when the sausage fest is on. So as soon as that finishes, you'll be able to straddle away on that cannon.
Yes, my dream.
Just there all night with his arm up in the air.
Where's Eric? He's still on that cannon.
Has he said anything? No, just staring. Just complete staring.
I'd be like one of the guards at Buckingham Palace.
They'd be just staring at that guy who's dressed as the sausage, and he'll just be staring back at him.
Now, if we could get him to straddle the cannon with us...
I think it might be quite difficult in a sausage outfit.
We need to get the 4 of us on the cannon at once.
We do. Yeah. Really do.
It'll be a good one.
Well, our professional photographer was only going to be sort of around in the daytime bit and for the speeches and everything, not in the evening. But there's been arrangements made that we might actually have a professional photographer in the evening as well. So if we can try and get the 4 of us on there and get a professional photo of it, would be the best.
I think she would do that. Yeah, it'd be a...
She'd be like, what are these guys doing? But I will take the photo anyway.
We need a new Facebook banner.
That'd be perfect.
That'll be a good one.
Oh, new listeners will be so confused.
Like, what the fuck is this?
This doesn't look like it's about retro games.
I think I'm going to click...
It's alright, we'll Photoshop Mario into the picture somewhere.
Oh man, the wait for this trip is just going to be unbearable.
It's going to be so fun.
It's like 60 days away still.
Oh god. It's too long.
I know.
It doesn't feel like very long. The invites went out this week with a colossal mistake on.
Yes, I was going to let you bring it up. I didn't want to be the one that poked the bear.
So Hazel, especially.
Did you write your names wrong or something?
Oh
yeah.
God, no. Hazel has worked so hard on these. She's done like 95% of the entire work on them, and we both proofread the back of it probably about 20 times each. Like, yeah, everything's fine. Print it out. We've made them ourselves, cut them out ourselves, and everything like that. And then we posted them all out on Thursday, but I hand delivered just a few through people's front doors in Lincoln on Thursday. And 15 minutes after getting home, one of my friends had found it. He's like, "Oh, quick question. On the inside it says the 14th. On the back it says Saturday the 10th. The Saturday of October. The 10th is a Tuesday." I was like, shit. I rang Hazel up and my first words were, "Right, don't stress out." But... Oh man, she was so upset. But we're laughing about it now, so...
Well, that's one of those things you just assume that you've put down correctly. Everybody looks for the stupid things like, did I put the I before the E? And is there apostrophe here? You just assume you put the date down right.
So yeah, you guys make sure you come on the right day, yeah?
So have you shown the invite to Dan
so we're going on the 10th, yeah?
Yes, the 10th.
No.
Mike, have you shown the invite to Dan yet?
I haven't, no.
Oh,
you've seen it online, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah, somebody posted it.
What
I've
a treat.
It's good work.
So yeah,
I spotted us in the middle. It's Eric's massive head.
It's too bad that he made these before I sent him all the compromising photos of Tom.
Yeah, Tom and Dan have got some fairly flattering pictures. So just to explain, basically what we've done is the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album cover by the Beatles, obviously. What we've done is, majority Hazel's done, is cropped out the guests' heads and basically put them all on the heads of the album sleeve, and then also she's photoshopped where at the bottom where the flowers are, and I can't remember what it says originally. I think it just says the Beatles, I think, but she's changed it to wedding, and it does look good. She's done such a good job on it. Such a good job.
It's super funny. So who are all the people that are on there then besides us? People that are coming to the wedding?
Yes, yeah, it's all guests.
Oh, nice.
Apart from, I think Amy Winehouse is on there. She's not coming because she's dead. So Dave Grohl's on there. Dave Grohl's on there somewhere.
If Dave Grohl came, that'd be great.
Yeah. I think Hazel put Starlin on there, or left him on there if he's originally on there.
Crystal would definitely come if Dave Grohl was coming.
She would.
Yeah. The cat's on there. Our cat is in the bottom left-hand corner. Mario's on there as well, I think.
He looks less than pleased that he's on here.
She always looks angry. That's just how she looks. Even though I bought her like a scratching post today that's like almost the same height as me, she still looks fucking miserable.
I don't want that. Yeah, I'm the only one on there that has a super unflattering photo.
I couldn't resist, I'm sorry.
You always take unflattering photos.
I don't know how to take normal ones. It's just not possible.
But no, the good thing is the people that have received them already, they've said, fuck the typo. It's, what
We're coming on the 10th.
Yeah, no, what you guys have done with it completely overshadows it, and don't worry about it. So,
yeah, most people won't even make it to the back anyway.
Yeah, thing is that
looks bollocks, Mike.
We've put actual vinyl records in there, and put labels on those, and obviously they're proper vinyl records that we'll play. We got them from a guy who owns a record shop here. He gave them us all for free.
What's on them?
We have no idea what we've sent out to people. They're just like, I think there's some Chaz and Dave in there. Some Gary Glitter, unfortunately.
Oh god. Oh god.
Yeah, no. So, but we have no idea who got what.
When you were first explaining this, I thought you were taking these people's heads and printing them onto the vinyl itself as well. So each person was randomly getting a vinyl with somebody else's face on it.
No, we haven't done that. But one of Hazel's friends received his, and he played it straight away, and he had Frank Sinatra's My Way on there, and he says he absolutely loves it. It completes the invitation for him.
Nice.
So that was a good one.
Good effort, Michael.
I hope I get the Spice Girls.
I can't take too much credit for it, so it was all Hazel's doing.
So modest.
Gentlemen.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm not drunk this time.
Good.
Unlike a couple days ago.
What happened a couple of days ago?
Well, we had a golf tournament. And it was 110 degrees outside with 40% humidity. I was outside for 6 straight hours. Guarantee I had some form of heat stroke and drunken stupor meshed into this weird existence of uncomfortableness.
It sounds horrible, Eric.
But I'll have you know, I won.
Even with an erection.
Oh yeah, that's how I played. I can't get golf clubs long enough. Gotta use my erection.
That's a big one.
But no, I was gonna say we should move on to... Oh god, I really don't want to do this. I blame Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let me get my notes ready. Oh, it just says it's shit.
Well, that's it. End the podcast.
Let me flip. Surely there's more notes in here. Nope. Every page just it's shit. The fuck is this shit?
Now I don't take notes, but I've made a mental note in my head, and it's somewhat similar but better. And mine just says it's shite.
Unfortunately, we need to move on to our game of this week. This is Mike's fault. It's actually...
I'm not accepting any blame.
I don't know. Well, Mike, you and I were talking a little bit about this before the other day when we were testing the mixer, and I falsely remembered this game being better.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
But our game of the week, if you don't know what the hell we're talking about, is the Capcom classic Dino Crisis.
Crisis of the Dinosaurs.
Also known as Power Plant Manager Dinosaur Edition.
Clever girl.
There's the first one. You're British. He says it in a British accent, and you didn't say it in a British accent.
Oh, clever girl.
Clever girl.
Oh, absolutely marvelous, darling. You're the finest dinosaur I've ever seen.
Kindly put my bowels back in.
If you could stop eating my leg, that would be marvelous. Did you turn the power on, Regina?
Gale!
No, not that power. The power across the other side of the facility.
mind the T-Rex outside.
Don't mind the velociraptors along the way. They're just chilling, darling. That's a new accent.
I like it.
Yeah, it's like Livingston.
It's Bert's English cousin.
Yeah.
Bort.
Bort. Bert and Bort.
Edna! Bort's coming up the drive! Oh, Bert, how marvellous to see you, old bean! Edna, I don't care if you're dead, get some tea on, God!
He's English, he needs it!
Get the kettle on, old chap!
I imagine Crystal's just sitting on the couch outside with her head in her hands like, what choices have I made in my life that have led me to be with this man?
Wait, do you think that Dan's sofa is outside?
Well, outside the room that he's in.
He's not a redneck.
It overlooks the road through my house. We just watch the traffic on a night.
I assume he's not sitting on the couch next to her.
No, I'm not.
He's in his spare room.
I'm actually in my main bedroom.
Ooh. On the bed?
Oh, yeah.
In a sultry pose?
Yeah.
Hands
like up
on
in the air
chin?
and everything.
Straight up. Crystal, come here. I'm going to seduce you.
Oh, darling, how nice to see you.
Dan, why are your hands straight up in there? This is my mating dance.
Come podcast with me.
Come over here, clever girl.
Why are you getting your suitcase out?
Did you remember to turn the power on?
I have spare batteries.
You best put them in the third energy generator.
Let me put this plug in your red box.
So anyway, Dino Crisis is shite.
Oh god, I don't want to do this. To Wikipedia.
Do you think there's a part for me in Jurassic World 2?
No.
Well, as a velociraptor.
Yes.
Rawr.
Roar.
Oh, super.
The super velociraptor.
Look at my talons. Ooh. Rawr.
Oh, my tail is so nifty.
Wiggle, wiggle.
I'm gonna eat your flesh.
Turn the power off. I'm sleeping.
I do like to sleep on this.
Dino Crisis first released July 1st,
Shouldn't have
1999. What?
Shouldn't have bothered.
In this game, you take on the role of the lovely Regina.
Or generic action game woman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And her compadres, Gale.
I'm definitely not a bad guy, Gale.
Ricky, and Cooper, who lasts about 8 seconds.
And various dinosaurs.
You're sent to an island to track down a scientist named Dr. Kirk, who is supposedly working on some sort of new renewable energy and has gone missing.
Sure, I've heard of a plot in something like this before.
Every action movie ever.
It's on more about the dinosaurs, to be honest, on an island.
Oh. I think.
Yeah. But they even reference at some point that it's just like that movie.
Breaking down that fourth wall.
Yeah.
Where do we want
Clever girl.
Oh dear. No, but I've just realised something. The
Okay.
reason they go to their island is because they have a secret agent there called Tom, and they've gone to find Tom. Is that where Tom is?
Yes.
Tom is an ibis island.
He's been eaten by dinosaurs.
Tom, we knew you so well.
R.I.P. Thomas Reagan.
Destroyed by a velociraptor.
It's alright, we'll just get to Jeeves to replace him. It's fine.
He lived how he died, being eaten by a reptile.
How do you live?
Oh yeah.
I meant to say died how he lived, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I like it better the other way around. It makes even less sense and it's marvellous.
Oh dear. So, anyway, Dino Crisis.
Dino Crisis.
I like how we're all so hesitant to talk about this.
Because it's just... I want to be objective about it, but it's going to be really hard.
Yeah, I can see us losing a lot of listeners over this.
Well, because I feel like there's a special place in certain people's heart for this game.
Send your death threats to podcast at...
Please don't.
This is the next show. Right, we have an email. Die.
Fuck you, I kill you.
Die. Die. I hope you stub your toe really hard. Die. Keep up the good work.
But die.
P.S. I'm a stander.
Oh god, no, the worst.
Dear.
Okay, so the gist of the story was to go find Tom?
Well, it's to investigate. So basically, Tom has gone to investigate what's going on in the island because, well, to see what's going on in the island because there's reports that Dr. Kirk has been spotted there and he's supposedly been dead for about 3 years.
And he was leading the Secret Weapons Project.
Yes, so the team that you are part of, because you lose communication with Tom, the team goes in, their mission is, one, to find out what happened to Tom, and to bring Dr. Kirk back.
It's important to note that they are part of a team called S.O.R.T.
A sort of team.
It's sort of team. Secret Operation Raid Team. There's another game that Capcom made that had a acronym for the team name that's almost identical to this game.
Stars.
Oh, stars. I'm fucking Nemi.
Don't you know who I am?
Could you imagine if Nemesis was in this? S.O.R.T. And he's just there organising shapes through holes. S.O.R.T.
Just cramming a circle into a square hole and it's not fitting. No, either that or he's in the mail room just sorting mail. That would have been a great Easter egg.
What Nemesis did next?
People walk into the room. Nemesis, I haven't received my mail yet. S.O.R.T. Okay, I can see you're busy. I'll see you. I'll
be
like later.
Like one of those reality TV programs where it just cuts to interviews with Nemesis every so often. After it plays clips of him doing things, he just goes S.O.R.T.
Undercover boss, Nemesis.
Kitchen nightmares, Nemesis. Chef Ronnie Pickering.
Poor Nemi.
Don't you know who I am?
It's fucking raw, you slag!
That is the worst gosh darn cheeseburger I've ever seen. Sword. I really don't want to talk about Dino Crisis, do we? Oh God! I think first thing before we start, before the Dino Crisis thing, we have to admire Regina's outfit, which it appears that she's put her underpants on top of her trousers.
Hey, Superman gets away with it.
They were in a rush. They were dropping in at night.
Just
changed in the dark.
What Gail turns around, just got her underpants on
Like,
over her trousers. What's going on?
The cream of the crop.
Regina's dressed herself again, I see.
She's got a pair of socks on her ears.
Oh man.
I think I couldn't work out where they went.
Okay, so the S.O.R.T team drops in at night, and Cooper gets blown off track, falls into a jungle, and gets eaten by the Tyrannosaurus. almost immediately. And he had the only radio that the entire team brought with them.
So fucking stupid.
Yet they can still talk to each other.
Special ops.
No other radio. They're like, give it to this guy. He dies. You all land in...
How did he fall out the helicopter again?
No, they all jumped. They were skydiving.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he got blown off course.
Stupid idiot.
Poor Cooper.
God damn it, Cooper.
Fucking Cooper. And then you land in some area of the base, and you have to start sneaking in by turning power on.
Then you become a power plant engineer, and all is fine in the world.
Power Crisis, the game.
Power
With dinosaurs. It's just there's such a disconnect between the premise of this game and what you have to do. It's just bizarre.
Yeah, the story isn't terrible. However, the dinosaurs just kind of feel like an afterthought.
I just feel like reskinned zombies from Resident Evil, basically.
Except they give you almost no ammunition throughout the entire game.
Yeah, that was weird.
And I was expecting this to be a lot like Resident Evil, so every time I picked up ammunition, I'm like, I'm just going to kill these dinosaurs so that when I come back through here, they're gone, but they respawn.
Oh, do they?
Certain times when you come back through, they respawn. Or
See,
there's more than enough, or there's more dinosaurs than you have bullets for.
but see, I figured out pretty quickly, after putting in about 10 handgun bullets into a dinosaur and it still wasn't dead. I was like, I'm not going to have enough ammo here, so I just started running away. And I got through most of the game without firing many shots at all.
I discovered very quickly the importance of those darts. For the later dinosaurs, the ones that had the bigger talons.
Because there's the mix system, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Which basically you can take certain items from your items and combine them together to create stronger items.
Well, the interesting thing I thought about that is because Resident Evil 3 came out literally a couple of months after this, so obviously both must have been in development in some kind at the same time. Now, admittedly, they had different directors, but the ammo. There's the ammo system, isn't there, in Resident Evil 3, where you can mix the different ammos to get gunpowders together. You get different ammos for different guns. And this, compared to that, seems very, very basic. But you can see where obviously the idea was utilised in both.
Everything about this game was very basic. The formula as you progressed through the game was enter new area, find these DDKs to access the next room, and then turn the power on, find the DDKs, access the next room, turn the power on, find the DDKs, access the next room, rinse, repeat till the end of the game.
See, this is where I think this game struggles against Resident Evil in terms of keeping your interest in that way. I mean, Resident Evil has all the interesting puzzles. I mean, I know sometimes with Resident Evil it's basically get this key to go there, get this key to go there, but usually you had to get the keys in different ways, whereas with this, like you said, most of the doors were behind the DDK doors. You find the two DDK bits and put it in there, quickly solve a quick word puzzle, which are all basic, depending on what level of the game you're at, you basically decode them. And that, it lost entertainment factor very quickly.
I think the thing that really made this game such a chore is the lack of direction. I get what they were trying to do with not pandering to the player and making it obvious that here's where you go to this exact location and do this. But they almost went too far the other direction where they gave you almost no idea of where to go, or they relied on you having read something in a journal that you may have missed in coming through, because none of the objects are very apparent. Stuff will be sitting on a desk. You're like, yeah, okay, you can tell, you can read that, but sometimes you need to look inside of a random box that if you're not clicking on everything as you're walking through the room, you're going to miss it. And then you have to go back through.
You actually wanted to start again, didn't you, Eric? Because you couldn't find something.
Yeah, I just physically could not find something, so I had to pull open a walkthrough, and even the walkthroughs are written in such a way that if you haven't followed that walkthrough exactly, you're going to have no idea where you are.
Well, I mean, the thing with Resident Evil, obviously all the backgrounds are pre-rendered, so all of the items they stick out because obviously they're actually there across these pre-rendered backgrounds, whereas Dino Crisis uses an actual 3D engine with real-time environments.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it does actually. I didn't notice that. Good spot, Mike.
Well, apparently they use that to try and give it a better cinematic action and like more dramatic character depictions. But because unfortunately it came with like hardware limitations, because obviously the PlayStation was doing that at all times, fully in the full 3D environments. So that's why a lot of the environments were as bland as they were, because they couldn't put the detail in.
I don't know. I thought it looked good.
I think some areas looked really bland, to be honest.
I mean,
it didn't look terrible, don't get me wrong.
It was a bit generic. I mean, it was a bit laboratory.
Yeah, you're in a big
through.
medical research facility
With so many power plants. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. How many circuit breakers can one facility blow?
I mean, speaking of the hardware limitations, the thing you were saying about the dinosaurs before, and you easily avoid them. The director of this, I'm going to completely butcher the pronunciation of this. Shinji Mikami. I could be saying that wrong.
Konami?
Inventory.
Shinji Mikami. He basically, I was looking up this, and basically he wanted the artificial intelligence of the dinosaurs to be much more in depth. He wanted each of them to have like their own individual personalities that could understand the player's condition and ambush them. But obviously the limitations of the PlayStation, he couldn't.
I'm Jives, the dinosaur.
Watch me dance. But a lot of how he envisioned the dinosaurs to be weren't his original vision, basically. There's a lot of quotes and stuff where like you hear him saying, well, not hear, you read him saying that just things weren't how he wanted them, and it's almost like he was a bit disappointed.
Well,
but he was the same guy who did the original Resident Evil.
He makes Evil Within as well.
Yeah, he did the remake, and he did Resident Evil 4.
he wanted this to be sort of a prequel, or not a prequel, a pseudo-sequel to Resident Evil. And where Resident Evil is survivor horror, they were marketing this one as a panic horror and trying to ground it in something that's a little more real. I don't know, the first time that T-Rex...
scary game I've played in ages.
The first time that T-Rex blew through the window was pretty sweet.
Meh.
Eh.
Meh.
He's just an unexcitable
obvious, that was
guy.
the problem.
Meh.
Eh.
Meh.
I liked it. Not the game, that scene.
Well, that's redeeming then, just the one scene.
I like the one scene in this whole 6-hour game.
I liked fixing the power. That was my favorite bit.
I like turning switches on. Not
I
off.
like the bit where you had to turn round the batteries.
The puzzles in this game were either mind-numbingly simple or impossible without a guide.
Come on, Mike, get the abuse out of the way for the crane puzzle. Come on.
Oh, Mike, let's hit him.
Daniel.
How long did
How
this...
did you not spot the numbers?
I just wasn't paying attention. I was just pressing them.
Wait, what
so
numbers?
So, did you not see the numbers either? Oh, you were using a guide though, weren't you?
No, not for that bit.
Yes. Oh. Well, so basically there's this crane section where there was a couple of them, where to be able to get through the room you need to use a crane to move things out the way and put them back down so that you have a path through.
Are you talking about the numbers on the card?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So
yeah. It tells you how
basically-
far it moves that bit.
Yeah,
I didn't
Dan
see
didn't figure
that.
that out.
Oh, Dan. Oh, good.
So yeah, you
Yes.
have the arrows on them, and it'll have like up 2 or left 1 or anything like that, and you've got to use the cards in a certain order to be able to put the crates down. And yeah, Dan for some reason didn't spot the numbers at all.
And I spent about 20 minutes trying to do it without realising that the numbers were there, doing every combination and not getting anywhere. I was like, how do you get the one in the middle? Because it just wouldn't work. That was the only one that was in the way. Oh, but I felt like such a fool when I finally realised.
It's okay, Dan.
I know.
Did anybody else notice that with the DDK cards, that the password always started with the letter of that DDK?
I didn't.
I did eventually, yeah.
Yeah, so if it was like DDKW, it was waterway, or L
See,
was laboratory.
DDKs, I worked out the first few, and then when I got into the numbers, I couldn't wrap my head around that, and I just had to look it up.
Yeah,
Did you not read the manuals that showed you how to do it?
Yeah, but it didn't make any sense in my head.
Oh.
So we should explain what DDK is. So if a room is locked with a DDK, you have to pick up a code disk and a key disk and put them both into the door. The code disk gives you this cipher. It can either be a bunch of numbers or a bunch of letters. And then the key disk will give you a bunch of numbers or letters, which then reference the code in some fashion. The very first one was... to get into the chief's room, it was DDKH, and it had a bunch of letters, and then down below it removed, for the code, all of the letters that weren't used, leaving you just the word head.
Oh.
There it is. But
my favourite one was the one to get into the laboratory, where the password was laboratory.
Yeah. Or to get
No
into...
one will ever get it!
Make sure you set your password as the computer's password.
Or to get into Dr. Kirk's office, it was Dr. Kirk.
Excellent.
So yeah, the ones later on, Dan, with the numbers. Mm-hmm. So because there was two different number ones. There was the first one where essentially you'd get the numbers. So if you had, say the numbers were 2, 3, 5, and 6, for each row, you would use those letters. So you would use the second one, the third one, the fifth, and sixth, and you take them out of that line. And then you get to the second row and do the same thing again. So you take the letters out using those numbers. But the easiest way to do it was that the numbers actually lined up with the columns anyway. So let's just go along and match the letters with the columns.
I have no idea what you just said, but good.
And I can't remember the third one.
I can't do maths puzzles. They just don't go in my head. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Essentially, the numbers referenced the letter on the line. So if it was the second letter and the third letter, and then you pull that out.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Got
I can't
it.
for the life of me remember
I
what the
couldn't
third
be
one was.
bothered to read. I hate reading long text documents in games. I read about a page and I get bored and I stop.
Well,
Like,
that's where
I
most
can't
of the
imagine-
plot dump came out for this story.
I tried to, but I did read most of it, I think, for this one. But for like something like Skyrim, where they've got those books where they have entire stories in, who could be bothered?
Yeah, let me go kill some chickens or something.
I like Mass Effect, where they have all the lore written for ages.
I
and
like
just,
how games like Horizon did it, where you can pick up those audio files and then listen to them as you continue walking around.
Yes, but you never get enough time to listen to it before you get to the end of the place.
Yeah.
Which happens in all those games with audio things. You always get where you're meant to be going before the end of the audio log, so you have to stand there for about 5 minutes listening to them chunder on.
I'll usually just save them because it marks it in your inventory as unlistened to, and just save it for when you're back out in the real world.
Those are really good, actually, the audio logs on that one.
Yeah.
That was a good story. Have you finished it yet?
No. Because I got Final Fantasy now, son.
How are you getting on with Final Fantasy 12?
Well, I was getting on quite well till we had to pick up this hot pile of garbage. I don't know where I'm
pile
at.
of garbage.
I don't remember. It's been a while.
I'm at the end.
Ugh, good.
I'm doing all the side quests, which are awesome. So many.
Dan. Hello, we're talking about Dino Crisis.
I know. I did a segue into Final Fantasy.
Yeah, but no.
We've already said it, shit.
Speaking of which... Oh, wait, we already referenced that part. There's a part in the game where they're going down an elevator, and Ricky, the computer dude's like, this is like it's right out of that movie.
What, Debbie Does Dallas?
Yes, this is... Jesus, Dan. What version of Debbie Does Dallas did you watch?
I don't know, but it was good.
A lot of blood. Ugh.
Which movie was he talking about? I don't remember that bit. I remember the elevator.
He's talking about Jurassic Park.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
because you were singing the Jurassic Park song, so that's why I transitioned to that.
But I mean, he was generally.
It was a
an annoying
beautiful
character.
segue.
It was.
Are any of the characters not annoying on this?
No.
Of the 5 people you actually hear talking, every single one of them, apart from Tom, who dies straight away, who doesn't say enough for me to have an opinion.
Well, did you guys
just really annoying.
Did you find that too often when they were doing the voiceovers, the music was too loud, so you couldn't hear what the hell anyone was saying?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I found that with Resident Evil as well.
Yeah.
The Resident Evil isn't as bad as this.
No. It was so dramatic and just not needed at the time all the time.
Well, I mean, I played the original disc on my PS3, and I was wondering, maybe it's an issue with the PS3 and PS1 disc. And I had a quick look at some videos online, and I was like, no, it's exactly the same.
No, it's
And
the
there's
same
no
with
option for
emulation too.
subtitles.
Nope.
So I didn't know what was going on half the time.
Typically, I'll play a game. If I'm playing a game at night, I'll play it with subtitles on, just so I'm not having the TV super loud. But this one would have been great for subtitles.
If you didn't know what was going on, Dan, basically, it was, oh, we need to access this area. Oh, but there's no power there. Oh, well, I can go and do that.
Right.
Oh, but we've just spotted something else. Oh, what shall we do? Oh, well, I'm Gail, and I think we should do this. Oh, I'm Rick, and I think we should do this. Regina, you're in the middle. Can you choose which one we do? Because we're like 2 children.
That's a good synopsis.
That is perfect. Absolutely.
And then
perfect.
halfway through, you discover that Dr. Kirk is in fact not dead, and that he has...
Oh my god, I'm shocked.
He has gone a bit crazy, and people are leaving journals around with their intimate thoughts about him. And
Why does he look like a 20s surfer dude?
He has got some lovely hair, hasn't he?
He has, it's beautiful. It looks like Mike if he had blonde hair.
He had the most ridiculous
It was an
voice,
insane man obsessed with turning off the power in an industrial facility on an island full of dinosaurs.
He had the most ridiculous voice because, like you said, he looked like a young 20s surfer dude. But then when he spoke, he was all like, oh, deep down like this, and just did stereotypical evil laughs.
He did, yes. I didn't like Gale either. Gale was a moron. Just typical grumpy old bastard. Then you've got Rick, the young, hip dude.
who's good with computers.
Is good with computers. Now, I think that's what we need to talk about, because you have these branching paths.
Yeah.
With
But
them,
Rick literally spends his entire time typing with his entire palm.
Just
Yes.
mashing the keys.
I'm ITing.
If I do this for long enough, it'll work.
I mean, there's that theory behind giving monkeys typewriters, and eventually they'll hammer out all the entire works of Shakespeare.
I liked the bit where they had to do the key card swipe at the same time using their palms. That was quite good.
Why couldn't Regina just stand and reach her arms across and do both at once? It wasn't that far apart.
I have no idea.
A lot of glaring holes in this.
But I love that bit because she had to call Gail to come down to help her, and like it's so hard to get around the facility, but he can just show up whenever he wants.
Did anybody else ever just completely have no fucking clue where to go?
Yes.
Because sometimes they would put on your map a red flashing light in the room, like, hey, go here. That happened like 3 times.
Towards the end, I don't know how you do it without a guide. The bit where you have to do the third energy generator and things like that, it's so complicated.
Well, hey, let's talk about third energy. So you discover...
It's not first energy, it's not second energy, it's the third energy.
So you discover Dr. Kirk is researching a new form of energy that's apparently going to provide unlimited renewable energy to the world. But if you were...
It's a dinosaur on a treadmill.
If you are wondering... like I was up till this point, what the hell are dinosaurs doing here? You're not alone. Good question, because in utilizing third energy, it creates a rip in the space-time continuum and transposes one spot with another from 65 million years ago.
I mean, it couldn't have just went to some dude like sitting in the bath or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
that
some
would have been a lot less
fat guy
threatening.
eating Cheetos. Can I go back to my bathtub?
Fat Guy Crisis.
Yeah. So yes.
Do you know anything about fixing power?
Better get out that bath first.
So that's how the dinosaurs got here. He turned on the third energy generator and brought dinosaurs forward in time.
Well done, him. What a genius.
It's a stupid storyline.
Stupid.
It's so implausible. And they don't explain anything about it until 2/3 of the way through. For the whole first part of the game, you're like, great, dinosaurs, why the hell are they here?
It's mystery, Eric.
I like at the beginning how they're just so accepting of it as well. Like, when Regina sees her first dinosaur, she ends up on the radio to Rick, and she mentions that she found a dead member of staff, and he looks like he was ripped apart. Well, he was ripped apart by a dinosaur, and he's just like, "Dinosaur, you're having a laugh." And then, like, you go to him 30 seconds later, and he's like, "What are we gonna do about these dinosaurs?"
Yeah. Well, they're special operatives. They accept a situation and adapt quickly, clearly.
You were going to mention the branching paths, Dan.
I was. Beautiful segue, Mike. Good work. Thank you. Branching paths are in this, where it is basically like Mike said, where Gale throws a hissy fit, Rick throws a hissy fit, and then Regina's in the middle and has to make a decision between each hissy fit.
So true.
Now, which ones did you guys pick, is the question.
You got to do this 3 times, right?
3 times, yeah. So
Yeah.
the first one, let's see if we can find it.
I think
It's when you see the guy on the camera, and you also get a radio message from Tom. So Gale wants to go find the guy on the camera because he thinks it's Dr. Kirk, so he wants to follow the mission. But Rick is like, well, we need to go help Tom.
Yes.
So you have to choose between continuing the mission or going to find Tom.
I said screw Gale because he's a
God
jerk.
damn it, Reagan. I also screwed Gale and went with Rick because he's cool and hip, and I like his palm smashing into the keyboard.
Yeah, I went with Rick too. Because I don't like agreeing with a man called Gale.
No.
What
It'll mean nothing to you, Eric, or most of the listeners, but there's Gale Platt from Coronation Street, and I just couldn't think of anything else. Basically, Eric is this woman from a long-running English soap who looks a bit like an ostrich.
Gale Platt?
She's
Gale
like
Platt.
if an ostrich,
Oh yeah.
a sheep, and a frog had a baby.
Oh god.
Yes, with lots of hair.
What happened to her chin?
She doesn't have one.
It got summoned by third energy, and it's another time period.
Chin comes smashing through the window.
Is
God
this
damn
her?
it, Gale Platt. That's her. Oh my god.
She's ripped.
Why is that been put on there?
Is that a picture of The Rock?
I don't know, but she looks like she could break me in half with her leg.
What's with the weird tan line near the watch?
Well, when you wear your watch outside, you get tan. Or is this her? You might have to click on that one.
Oh my god.
Poor E.T. He looks better without Gale's face.
So yeah, that is the reason
I hope the
why I
actress
could
isn't
never
a
side
listener.
with. That's the reason why I could never side with Gale, because just every time I was like, you just remind me of her.
Yeah, I hope the actress isn't a listener, because that's another listener we're losing this episode.
Oh well.
Pretty sure it's unlikely.
You never know. She might be a big Dino Crisis fan. She is in it.
Oh god.
But yeah, so we all went on the same option the first time. So you ended up meeting Tom, because I had a look to see what happens if you chose Gale at this point, and it turns out it's just a random member of staff that you find.
Who's been shot?
Sounds like an anticlimax, yeah. So you end up meeting up with Tom, who ends up dying just before he manages to tell you anything. God damn it, Tom.
Damn it, Tom.
Oh, that was another overused thing in this game. You'd find someone alive on the brink of death, they'd hand you something, then die straight away. Doesn't it happen like 3 or 4 times?
Oh, yeah, it did happen quite a lot, didn't it?
Someone's on the brink of death, like, here, take this. I can't go on anymore.
And then they were holding an Uzi.
And you couldn't
you can't
take. But instead she took the notebook. Oh, this diary will help me.
I have no ammunition, but I will take the diary.
Yeah.
Because it's only a guy in a bathtub that I have to deal with. Bathtub Crisis.
I don't remember what any of the other choices were after that, but I want to talk about the healing system for a second.
Oh, yeah.
I thought at the beginning... So you have a bunch of different items. You get the medical packs. You get the hemostats. You get the dart, which I don't know what the hell... Like, what is it? Antidote dart?
I thought it was just saying "an" something.
Yeah, like they put the wrong article there. But if you mix them, then you can make Andart S, Andart M, Andart L, and they just have a higher potency level to knock the dinosaurs out. But the medical packs were so few and far between to heal yourself that it became super inconvenient, and I kept dying because I thought you could bleed out because the hemostats stop your bleeding, and I noticed at the beginning I got attacked and blood was trailing behind me, so I used a medical kit, but I was still bleeding, and eventually, you know how when you start getting more injured, you start to hunch over when you walk and you get slower? She kept doing that and just died.
I think you can bleed out.
But it only happened that once.
I think sometimes, depending on the story events, it fixes her. I don't know why.
Well, I noticed the very last time I loaded a save up, I remember saving just before it, and I was injured, and I loaded the save up, and she was fully healed, so I don't know if that's a thing as well.
Oh, perfect.
The save systems are weird on this as well.
I like it better than Resident Evil, though.
Yeah.
Because you don't need
you can save whenever you want in certain rooms, but it's kind of weird. The rooms just come out the blue. You have to remember where they are.
Well, it does show them on the map once you've been to one.
Yep.
It does show them on the map.
Okay.
But anytime you go to exit that room, it asks you if you want to save. And then there's a continue system where apparently there's a resurrection item. So if you die, you can utilize your resurrection item and come back to life right outside that very room that you died in.
Did you guys use the coloured boxes on the walls?
I didn't until the very end of the game. I thought that I misinterpreted what they were. I thought they were boxes that you could put stuff in and store them for later. Too. I'm like, fuck that. I barely have anything to put in there. So I missed out on a ton of stuff.
You can
really
put things in there.
struggled with carrying stuff.
Yeah, all the time.
Oh, I was always almost empty inventory.
There's nothing to expand it either, is there?
No.
Like there is on Resi.
But the boxes there's a medical box and then there's a weapons box where if you open them using these certain plugs.
There's a yellow one as well.
Which is a bit of both, I think.
Got it. You can take items out. And I didn't use it till the very end. I'm kind of glad that I didn't because I didn't have a whole lot of plugs.
So did you just leave items all the time then? Because without using the boxes, because obviously once you open, if you have a green box, you can then access all the other green boxes you've opened, all the red ones you've opened, and etc., etc. So I was really, really struggling at one point with just having too many items and I had to go find a box to be able to actually go and pick the other items up.
No, because whenever I got the darts, I'd always combine them.
Yeah, I was trying to mix things as much as possible. So that cleared up room, and now occasionally getting hit. When she gets attacked by the dinosaur, she'd be dead or her arm would be off. Like, rive her about. There was those clips with the danger thing as well.
Yeah, that you just have to mash your buttons as hard as you can.
Yeah, my favourite one was when the pterodactyl fell into the fan.
Yeah.
It was funny.
It took her too long to recover from getting attacked as well. If it ever knocked her down, she would just lay there.
Did you guys ever get the gun taken out of your hand?
Once.
Yes. The placement of the dinosaurs in the room seems to be semi-random as well, so you can't really plan ahead.
I did really like how the dinosaurs sometimes would follow you from room to room.
Yeah, that scared the shit out of me the first time that happened.
Because I would run through a room into another room, and the first time that I noticed this, I went like, okay, great, I'm safe, and then they busted through and killed me.
But then they will just happily wait for you to open the safe.
Oh yeah, it's like just don't mind me. I got to solve this puzzle. Okay.
I'll just have a drink at the bar. Don't worry about me.
I'll stand here and tap my talons on the floor.
Barkeep, another Jurassic drink, please.
Cup of blood. Shit. There's something else I wanted to bring up.
Hairball?
Yes. The one spot that continually killed me was the second time you met the T-Rex and you had to run across the walkway from the antenna room back to
Yep, I died a few times there.
the facility because I just couldn't get the timing right for when I had to shoot him because it's an instant kill if you get hit by him.
Yeah, that wasn't fun.
I mean, the T-Rex in general, the only real boss battles in this game are with the T-Rex. And there's... how many times do you see it? There's the time in the room where it smashes through the window. There's the time you've just been talking about at the side of the building. There's the helicopter crash. And then
there's a bit where it comes through the door and jumps into the generator and knocks itself out.
Yeah, but you don't fight it then, though, so it's just a cutscene, really.
Yeah.
And then there's the final bit, and there's only... You only literally have to fire it a couple of times, even if that, on any of them. It's such a letdown.
Well, when you're running around the helicopter, you can just run and never fire a bullet.
I didn't fire a single bullet.
Me either.
Do we want to get to the final boss battle with this? Because talk about a letdown.
I think so.
Well, we all did different endings, didn't we?
We did?
Because there's 3 different endings, and basically the final hissy fit choice that you do determines which ending you will get and does different plot points. So you can either have it where Dr. Kirk dies and Gale lives. Gale dies and Dr. Kirk lives, or you can have it with both of them, which is the best ending. So Dan, you did it where they both survived, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Which means that, because I looked up the endings as well, which means you left a completely different manner to me and Eric. Because you left on a helicopter, didn't you?
Yes. Basically, there's a hidden heliport, which you can find, and then you have to find it before you go and speak to Gale. And then, if you have, Gale will be holding up Dr. Kirk at gunpoint. Then he takes him they all go to the heliport together, and they basically, before you get to the heliport, you're on this like kind of moving platform, and the T-Rex chases you. And it's another one of those sections where you have to time it right to hit it, otherwise it's an instant kill. And that's basically the only time I'd shot a bullet in about 3 hours on this, because I was just running away from everything. You get to the helicopter, and then the helicopter takes off, and the T-Rex is chasing the helicopter. The helicopter weirdly has a small nuclear bomb strapped to the bottom of it, which they drop onto the T-Rex and eviscerates it, and they fly away. And that's it, really.
So before you get to that point, though, the 2 paths that you have to choose, one of them is very action-oriented, and then the other is very puzzle item fetch quest-oriented.
Oh, yeah, that was the second choice, wasn't it?
No, that's the third.
Oh, okay. But, yeah, the one where you either go with Rick's choice and have to build the bits, the stabilizer and whatever, or go the other way. But it made out like the Gale's way, where supposedly there's loads of dinosaurs down there. There wasn't.
And that's why I didn't. Yeah, I didn't choose that one because as the ending that I was reading is like this one. There's a lot of fighting. I'm like, well, I have 0 ammunition.
Yeah, that's why I didn't pick it either.
So building those parts was so cumbersome. It was so much backtracking and having to remember where certain rooms were, and then you get into those rooms and it's like, well, I don't know what the hell to do here. And then the puzzle to put them all together. Yeah.
But Gale actually said Regina doesn't have the knowledge to put this together properly, and then next thing you know, she's a complete genius and just manages to do it.
So, Mike, you have to run around and collect 6 pieces,
right,
and then take them to this 0 gravity machine where you put them all in, and you have to. One is the stabilizer, and what's the other one? The initializer.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So you have to take the 3 pieces, and the first one is spinning in the center of this 0 gravity area, and then another one just comes floating from off screen, and you have to spin the one in the middle just right so that they click together. But in the meantime, the third piece is floating in from off screen, and you have to rotate it around and find the right angle for everything to connect together. and then do it again for the initializer. And if you mess up, you have to do it all over again.
Sounds like an absolute testicle ache.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. It wasn't difficult. It was just, I kind of wish I'd gone the other route because it's supposedly faster. And
so all I had to do was literally, that room with the second crane, the second crane puzzle,
the one that
there's the big, there's the big shutters there, and you couldn't get through the door on the right originally because you needed a key card for A doors. You literally went into that room and went and picked it up. And then went back. And when they said there's loads of dinosaurs down there, there's literally the same amount of dinosaurs that would have been there in the first place.
Ugh.
That is all you had to do. Run and grab it. That was it.
Wow.
That would have been a lot faster.
Yeah.
And I didn't shoot a single dinosaur at any point during that run. Like, I
think taking the other route added over an hour on.
Yeah.
Because of all of the running around you had to do. And I died twice. Just because I'd go the wrong way and I'd run into a dinosaur and I'd get pinned down and then I'd have to restart or use a resurrection. It was neat.
I watched a clip the other day with the deaths, because when you die, it kind of fades to red to imply the death. But somebody had actually modded the game so you could see the deaths, and they were brutal, man.
Huh.
Just getting chomped by the T-Rex.
Going back to the deaths a sec. What was the difference between a continue and using a resuscitation? Was there any?
Yeah. Continue, you start back. Well, after you run out of continues, you have to load your previous save. So any progress since then, you've lost.
Yep.
A resuscitation and a continue, I believe, are essentially the same thing. But using the resuscitation doesn't take away from your continues.
Yeah, no. Is that it? That's the only...
I think that's it.
Right, okay.
Let's see. I'll do a quick goggle search here. If Regina dies, the player may continue from the room she died in. After 5 continues are exhausted, player must continue from their last save point. So essentially the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So my ending, left on a hoverboat. I basically had to get all the components to activate the third generator. And when you did, the base kind of went into this alarm mode, and you had to make your way back out to the port to get on the hoverboat. And in the meantime, the T-Rex came in, smashed the generator. You thought he was gone. You get to the hoverboat, there's no fuel. So Rick throws you, he's like, oh, this thing runs on some sort of nuclear power. Here, go fill this canister up with some nuclear fuel. So you go back into the generator room, you find all of these piles of barrels of nuclear fuel just laying around. You're like, just pour some in here. And on your way back to the port, what
kind of boat runs on nuclear fuel?
I mean, this hoverboat.
Okay.
You go back, give him the fuel, and then you start to notice that the T-Rex is coming back to life. So you decide to go deal with it. I was hoping for an epic final boss battle, but it wasn't. Basically, you're running around the generator room, very similar to the helicopter, and you're running towards the screen with the T-Rex behind you, so it is a little bit cinematic, and you eventually will get to a point where the screen will flash fire, and you have to turn around using R2 to do the quick 180, pull your gun, and shoot him to stun him, and then rinse, repeat. I did it once, and that was the end. Took him one shot.
Were you playing on easy?
I was playing on very easy.
Oh my god.
No, it's just, I was playing on normal. There was one spot where I was running around, and it acted like it was supposed to have done something, so I don't know if it glitched out and skipped that, but it only ever came up on my screen once to say fire. So I turned around, one grenade to the face, and he stumbled out through the wall, and Regina ran back into the hoverboat, and you start speeding out as the third generator explodes, and like this blue orb starts engulfing everything and taking it back to 65 million BC, and you make it out just as the orb encompasses the entire facility.
And you had Gale live, didn't you, on yours?
Yes, and Dr. Kirk was then presumed dead because they show you satellite imagery of the island, and in a perfect circle around the facility, it is now just ocean. Very anticlimactic ending. One-shot boss kill.
So for me, I did the one where Gale dies, and Kirk lives. Yes, that's right. So because the final choice is either go and help Gale or go and capture Dr. Kirk or something like that. I can't remember. But you go and you find Gale holding up Dr. Kirk, and this is where Gale admits that he's actually working for the government and they want to weaponize the third energy, and that's the real reason they went there. Surprise, surprise, he was a villain. But he ends up dying. So again, we use my characters use the hovercraft, but I didn't have to fuck around with any fuel or anything.
Really?
I literally just went, and there's the area just before the hovercraft. The T-Rex was randomly there, laid on the floor, and then
so you didn't see him bust through and fall on the generator?
Oh yeah, that's way earlier in the game.
Yeah, so he's still just laying there.
Yeah, well, no, he disappeared when I walked through. He wasn't there anymore.
Oh, weird.
So then when I got to the bit just before the hovercraft, just before you go into the building with the hovercraft, the T-Rex is randomly there, looking knocked out still. And Regina notices it and kind of looks at it like it's questioning why it's there, but then goes into the room, and then a tiny little cutscene of the T-Rex's eyes opening. And then basically you get into the hovercraft, the T-Rex is chasing the hovercraft, and then you basically... Do you remember the bit when you're on top of the building and you just had to hit the T-Rex at the right time while its mouth was open? It's essentially a repeat of that. You literally just stand there, wait for it to open its mouth, shoot. I think I did about 5 shots.
Huh.
And then Rick randomly throws you this massive rocket launcher. Is it a rocket launcher or does he fire it from the boat? I can't remember. He either fires it from the boat or it's from the massive rocket launcher, and then you fire that, and then it's the ending cutscene of the T-Rex dying, and the hovercraft just goes away.
And the facility survives?
Sunset. Yes. Which was also anticlimactic. So.
The whole game kind of a giant letdown.
Shite all round, yeah.
Well, I remember before we started playing this that I was really excited for it because I had good memories of it as a kid. And then I remember as a kid, I only played the first hour of it.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same.
And the first hour, arguably, it's fairly good. Because to me, it's more Resident Evil style game, especially with tank controls, which are the best.
Oh, yeah. Always.
Well, I've had this sat on my shelf for ages, meaning to play it, because I'd not played it since I was a kid, like you just said. And randomly on eBay a few years ago, admittedly, some of the cases don't have covers, but I got Resident Evil Director's Cut, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Dino Crisis, and Resident Evil Gun Survivor, which is shite as well, for £10 off eBay. Someone had them as a lot, and I ended up winning it for like 10 quid. So it's been sat on my shelf waiting for me to replay, and that's why I suggested this. I was like, well, I haven't played this since I was a kid. It was ace when I played it. I'm going to finally complete it. It's been sat on my shelf for so long. And yeah, I'm completely let down.
Should have stayed on the shelf.
Yeah.
Bad recommendation, Mike.
Hopefully we didn't offend anybody too badly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been thinking about like why it is as it is. Because let's face it, you have to compare this to Resident Evil. There's no way you can't, because it is essentially Resident Evil with dinosaurs. And it feels like, I think you said earlier, they had the idea of the dinosaurs and then that was it. But the thing with the Resident Evil games, they keep your interest because the plot is a bit strange where, it's fucking batshit mental, isn't it, Resident Evil sometimes? But as you're playing through it, you want to continue the story to find out what happened. You then also have various enemies. You've got all the boss fights and things like that. Whereas Dino Crisis, you can tell from the start what the plot is going to be. It's going to be an experiment that's gone wrong.
Which is essentially what happened with Resident Evil.
It is, yeah, but because it's not... the idea of the experiment gone wrong with dinosaurs it's been played out, hasn't it? And... your characters have no depth whatsoever. I mean, Regina's generic as they come. What I was saying about the boss fights, there's the T-Rex, that's it. You think about Resident Evil, all the different boss fights that you have, Plant 42 and, the various iterations of Tyrant, which kind of contradicts what I'm saying.
Well, the environments in Resident Evil were far more engaging.
Yeah, and as you progress, they change. So Resident Evil 1, for example, you've got the mansion, then you've got the courtyard, you've again got the caves under the mansion, then you end up in a lab. Whereas this, you're literally, okay, I'm in a facility. I'm still in a facility. Okay, there's a lab, that's a bit different, but I'm still in a facility. And it doesn't give you that, with Resident Evil, you've got that idea that you want to carry on, you want to hear the rest of the story, and this one just doesn't. You don't connect to any of the characters or anything, and the story is what it is. You're in a facility, you're trying to escape it. And I think that's where it falters alongside Resident Evil.
Well, when you're comparing it to a game as iconic.
I think he's right.
What did you say, Dan, sorry?
I think you're right.
Good thought.
And then there isn't as many enemies either. There's two different kinds of raptor. There's the pterodactyls, and there's those big chunky dinosaurs. I don't know what they're called.
The ones with the longer talons, and you really only come across 3 of those.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the T-Rex, and Resident Evil. You've got zombies, you've got dogs, you've got the hunters, you've got those. Going back to the first one, you've got those weird cockroachy kind of things.
You get the lickers.
Yeah. So
spiders.
Yeah, and bats. I think that is where it is. They just had the idea and just, I don't know if it was rushed or because of, I mentioned earlier the full 3D environments. Did that take so much from the system resources that they weren't able to implement all these things that they would do in Resident Evil?
See, my memories of this come, I think, from the second one. You said, Mike, the other day that it's more action-oriented, and that's what I thought this was like. So
I've never played the second one.
I must have played through the second one, because that's faster paced and enemies, it's more like an arcade shooter than anything, and enemies drop ammo and things after they're beaten.
I don't think I could physically bring myself to play any more of these.
Well, I mean, I had a quick look, because I mentioned about number 2 being more action orientated. I've never played it, but I had a little look, and the video that I found, the bit where I saw the character shooting dinosaurs, there was even like a point system. So as he was killing dinosaurs, points were coming up on screen as well.
Yeah, that's what I remember. So,
but I mean, it spawned two more Dino Crisis games. Dino Crisis 2 on the PlayStation, Dino Crisis 3, which I think was on the original Xbox, I think.
That said, though, I think if it was done for this generation, and done well, it could be quite good.
I mean, the game came out to semi-positive reception.
There was a light gun game.
I don't think time's been kind to it.
I don't think so either.
There was a light gun game for the PS2, believe it or not.
Wow.
Called Dino Stalker.
He's jacking it.
Is he jacking it?
Let's beat you.
Brilliant.
So
that's Dino Crisis.
Thank God that's over. How long did it take everybody?
3 hours 45.
Good Lord, Dan.
5 hours and 10 minutes.
6 hours, 5 minutes.
Now, Eric, you won't have unlocked the extra mode then.
What extra mode?
There is another mode you unlock if you finish it in under 5 hours, where it's kind of on Resident Evil 3 where you have to survive with a time limit.
Yeah, I'd rather not have unlocked that.
I know, I didn't play it, but I unlocked it.
Apparently, at the end...
Achievement unlocked!
They said,
yeah, boy.
I get a new outfit or something, and of course it's Regina in some skimpy outfit. Maybe it's just her underwear without the latex suit under it.
Oh,
yeah, I unlocked that too. But because we didn't get the true ending, we didn't... I didn't get the mad skills screen that Dan got.
Oh, did you not?
No.
Yeah, Dino Crisis told me I had mad skills. It's thanks, Dino Crisis.
So maybe that's the new basis for discovering who the best gamer is, not who's beat Ni no Kuni.
It's who's got mad skills.
No.
Hold on, that isn't fair. I specifically went for a different ending for Dan.
Well.
It was part of my
dare
plot,
you.
good woman.
Gotta play the game, Mike. Yeah, that's Dino Crisis. Should we move on to some questions?
Yay.
Dan posted a message a couple days early. You want to send us an email, factorysealed@manatank.com. We don't have any this week because people post them on Facebook at facebook.com/group/factorysealedpodcast.
It's a good place.
I know we say it most weeks, but honestly, it's good fun. And
It's a highlight of my morning.
It is.
And over the last few months, we've had so many people join it, and so many more people just joining in with the conversation, and it's always a good laugh.
Never makes sense.
No.
I tell you what, you think we're mental, you should see some of our fans.
There's another few listeners gone, Mike. Well done.
Thank you.
I mean mental in a good way. It's a compliment.
Oh, it's like saying you're dumb in a good way.
Well, people like it that we're mental, so...
Do you have a brain? In a good way.
No. We're
no offense.
we're trying to increase our listener base, Mike.
Well, I want to ruin it. That's why I chose Dino Crisis.
I see. Well, you're doing a good job.
I ruined this show.
You really did.
It's the will of the people. First question comes from Mr. Matt Ernie. Can you please all give your best T-Rex roar sound? And us listeners will vote who had the best.
Roar.
Rawr.
Raw. You sleep, Dan?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man, if that's how you snore, I'm not staying in a room with you. Okay.
How's that?
That was good. I liked it.
Good.
Buddy Bell, if I'm writing this question while sitting on the shitter and not ever played Dino Crisis, make me a bad...
So confused. By this.
Incomplete sentence. If I'm writing this question while sitting on the shitter and not ever played Dino Crisis, make me a bad person. I think he meant
makes you a lucky
having
person.
not ever played. Does?
Yes, it makes you a bad person.
No,
Maybe
actually
not.
it doesn't, because basically what's coming out of you is the equivalent of Dino Crisis.
A few more listeners gone.
Sorry.
We're sorry, everyone.
I was going to try to be objective this week, but I just can't. Chad Wesley Schaefer. I remember Dino Crisis 2 being more enjoyable because of being able to buy ammo for the respawning dino. So my question is, what game or games have you played where the sequel was better than the first? Uncharted and Mass Effect come to mind. Also, proper bollocks.
Resident Evil 2
Yes.
instantly springs to mind.
Dark Cloud. Dark Cloud 2.
Batman Arkham City.
Ooh, good choice.
Ooh.
And Arkham Knight as well, actually.
Any of the Elder Scrolls games? They continue to
Portal 2?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Modern Warfare 2.
Was that really better than Modern Warfare?
I think it was.
You think?
Yeah.
Half-Life 2. Uncharted 2. Uncharted 2
Grand
is
Theft
way better.
Auto Vice City.
I would say Kingdom Hearts 2, but I have no idea.
Yeah. Miss Pac-Man.
BioShock? Not BioShock 2. That game was
Infinite.
worse. Yeah.
I like Bioshock Infinite better than Bioshock.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2?
Yes. Although that's not a popular opinion, I believe.
It's a better
This
game.
whole show has not been a popular opinion, so
Yeah.
running
We've
with the
lost
theme here.
everybody.
I don't like the franchise, but Assassin's Creed 2.
Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Not Super Mario 2.
No.
No. Is that enough sequels?
Yes.
Dan, you want to take the next one? Or do you not have the page open?
I've got it.
Okay.
Josh Moss says, I had a chance to visit a small retro game shop in Superior, WI.
Wisconsin.
On my vacation.
Wisconsin. That's Wisconsin, Dan.
I want to say WI.
No, it's Wisconsin.
You have a place called Superior.
Yeah, Superior. It's better than everywhere else.
That's
At least you didn't say Superior.
Yeah, he got it right.
Superior. So, you had a chance to visit a small retro game shop in Superior, WI, on my vacation to Duluth this weekend. Looking on the Googles, there were like 3 in the area permanently closed recently that I wanted to also visit on my trip. What do you guys think is the future for these shops? I personally worry we will see them slowly fade away.
I'm a bit torn on this. I think we will, but not because there's a lack of interest in retro gaming, but because they don't understand, at least the ones here locally don't understand, to not jack prices up. I went in, when I was looking at buying another just regular DS because I wanted something that could play Game Boy Advance games, all of their DSs that they had in stock were minimum double of what I could have bought it online for anywhere.
Yeah, if they took that out with the new ones.
Yeah, from the DSi onwards.
Yeah.
Because I've got
Bastards.
DSi XL, and that hasn't got a Game
I
Boy
thought you had a
Advance
3DS, Dan.
I do.
You didn't realize it couldn't play Game Boy Advance games?
I didn't. I've never tried.
Well, it's a
didn't
good
notice
thing you
there's not a
haven't, because
port.
there's no slot.
I very rarely use my 3DS. It's only used for trips.
Well, now you know.
Like acid trips, where you lick your 3DS.
Yes.
That's how dirty it is.
Oh, yeah. Like going back to that episode where you and Tom were touching each other's DS. I don't want to be doing that.
Oh, dude, just wait. I'm bringing my DS.
Oh, God.
Let's all show each other our DSs.
Yeah. I've got the XL.
Yours is so big and pink.
Mine still has 3D on it.
Yours is probably still in the wrapper.
Just plays it through the box.
I've cut convenient holes in it. A lot of the shops down here like that are merging with other styles of stores. Like the major retro gaming stores that I go to also sell used books and used records and used instruments and used movies. I don't see many just retro game shops.
It's a specialist thing. Let's face it.
There's one here in Lincoln, and I mean, I might be just talking Lincoln alone or just the UK, but at the moment I can't see them fading away because retro gaming is becoming so popular. The shop in Lincoln, I've mentioned it before, it started off as like a market stall and then they ended up in the shop, and they are specifically just games. There's no movies or anything there, and they might have a small movie shelf, but anyway, that wouldn't have, a few years ago, that wouldn't have survived. When I saw that they ended up in the shop rather than a market stall, I was like, I give them 6 months tops. But it's been there years now, like in the shop. I only actually visited it recently since it's been in the shop, and it's really cool.
Some shops just seem to keep going by the skin of the teeth. Like, for example, up the road in Pity Me, there is a shop which sells beds, and there is never anybody in it ever. And
It's the same
still
thing
there.
here. There's mattress stores everywhere, and when one goes out, another one comes in the same
People
store.
always need their mattresses, apparently. I mean, it's not a good thing to sell, really, is it? Because once you get a mattress, you have it for most of your life. I mean...
No, you
This is
don't. You
crazy.
keep it for like 7 years max, 8 years, and then get rid of it.
No, you don't.
Dan, if it's over 8, it's time to replace.
That's what they want you to think, so you buy a new
I don't
one.
enjoy sleeping in a mattress full of dead skin. Your mattress
Yours is
literally
probably
doubles
still in the
weight.
wrapper.
Yeah.
I just imagine everything in your house being covered in plastic.
I'm like an old woman. Don't sit on the couch, dearie.
Sit on the couch and just slide off.
Yeah. Next question comes from Dan C. Gilbert.
Just one thing though. Before you, the great thing about these stores though, and I think this is the reason why more people will enjoy them. One is the personal touch, but you can do deals with them. So like a game, for example, if a game costs so much, you have to pay that price. But this specific game store, again, when it was a market store, I think I would have paid something like £13 if I'd got all 3 Tomb Raiders for the PS1. The first 3, and I just went to the counter and said, would you take a tenner for all 3? And he goes, yeah, if you want to. And I think that's the important part with these shops. You can haggle, you can deal with them, and I think that if you've
I'll give you $1.
if you've got a good one, then they will stick around.
Yeah, if they're not trying to play on people's nostalgia and this recent surge of retro and just price gouge.
So, not CEX then.
No, God, no.
CEX is a terrible shop.
The CEX in Lincoln has Nintendo Switches for like £30 more than they are brand new. Second-hand Switches.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
Capitalism, right there.
Yeah.
Dan C. Gilbert wants to know, what's your least favorite mechanic of the game? I'm assuming Dino Crisis, and the best mechanic.
Best mechanic for me was the fact that you can move whilst aiming and shooting, which you can't do you weren't able to do in any Resident Evil until Resident Evil 6.
You can?
Yeah, did you not realise?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know it either.
Oh, yeah, you can move while shooting.
My favourite mechanic was the bits where you had to fix the power. I particularly liked the puzzle where you had to move the batteries to the side. That was exciting stuff.
Especially the 5th time you did it.
Yeah. I liked it how they mixed it up and had a battery which is destroyed, which I had to replace with another battery. That was good.
Strap yourself in, boys. We've got another battery puzzle.
I was on the edge of my seat.
I don't know if I have a favorite mechanic. My least favorite were the DDKs because
I liked running. Running past dinosaurs.
It was faster than walking. My least favorite was probably I probably agree with Eric. The DDKs they were interesting to start with, but the overuse of them. Hello?
Yeah. Meh.
Maddie Hallmark wants to know, what are your favorite controls and why is it not tank controls? It's tank controls.
I don't mind tank controls.
Tank controls for life.
Can you imagine if they put those into brand new games like that? Ugh.
Be marvelous.
Ugh.
I grew up on Resident Evil, and tank controls don't bother me as much as they seem to bother.
They don't bother me at all. I actually enjoy them. James Getter. Well, I can't speak for everyone. I would like to see Eric's reviews done in interpretive dance.
You've missed one.
Did I? Well, I'll finish this one as a little bonus to each show. I think it'd be a great Patreon level. It'd just be me pelvic thrusting.
Bodysuit again.
Yeah, I'd just be pelvic thrusting the entire time.
I don't even know what interpretations you could make out of the shite we say, so...
We'll see. Mark Marchetti, what's your favorite dinosaur-based game, and were you all victims to the early 90s dino craze?
I haven't played it since I was younger, so it could be absolute dog shit now. But I remember really enjoying the Jurassic Park game on the Mega Drive. The one where there was 2 different game scenarios on it. There was playing as... What's the main character in that? It's Alan Grant, he's called? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you play as him for one campaign, and the other campaign you actually play as a Velociraptor. It's 2D game, 2D side-scroller. But yeah, I remember having good fun with that. It could be terrible now. Huh. Maybe we should play it one day.
I remember...
Eric, it's got to be Turok for us, man.
No. I really enjoyed Turok as a kid, but again, I only played like the first 2 hours of it. Because when we played it for the show, I got to the first boss and went, I've never seen this shit before. Oh, that's why, because this game's garbage.
Do you know what the best dinosaur game is, though? Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, I got to give it to that.
Yeah.
Retro-based, I would say Jurassic Park on the Super Nintendo.
Is that the top-down one?
Yeah. It's kind of like Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Yeah, I played that on the Game Boy.
Yoshi's Island.
I mean, technically it is a dinosaur game.
He is a dinosaur. Good thought, Dan. I like that.
I don't think I was victim to the great dinosaur craze.
I wasn't
really into dinosaurs much.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, me neither.
Santos...
I was more into Power Rangers.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
I never hit the Power Rangers phase either.
Oh, I did. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Pink Power Ranger for my first love.
That's what you dressed up as for Halloween, isn't it?
I did, yes.
You dressed as your first love?
I did.
Himself.
That's some weird stuff.
Next
Some
question.
Meta shit right there.
Santos Lopez. I think the factory sealed Mike Tyson wedding show should be live, and the four of you should be playing some sort of drinking game during the show. It should also be Tom Reagan's introduction to the American biscuit. Make it happen.
It's probably going to happen.
I'm trying to research a way to get a can of biscuits over there.
You can't get them anyway.
I know, which is why I need to find a way to get them over there without them spoiling and or exploding or any combination thereof.
Yeah, that would be good.
Because all it is
I
is
I want to try them. I won't be like Tom. I'll try that shit.
what I want to do is I want to see if I can, and I might test this. I'll buy a can of them and freeze them. But I think when they thaw, they'll pop the pressurization seal.
Eric,
What?
at the if the actual canned versions don't work, I know it won't be as good, but there's those sachets that you can make up, isn't there? Because that's what I've had before.
The what?
From America. They're like packets of like the dried stuff, and you just make the mix up with the. That's what I've had
like
before.
Bisquick biscuits.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So
Do you guys get Bisquick over there?
No, I've only had it because Hazel's American family brings stuff over for us.
You don't have Bisquick?
No.
How did you survive childhood mornings?
Cereal?
Bisquick. That would be an
Same Bisquick in
alternative. But man, I suppose they would work in a pinch. We can try it.
I mean, they're the only versions I've had, so I can only imagine how good the fresh ones are, because the powdered ones, I love them.
I will try to find a way to make it work, but I want to bring over... My concern is that I fly out here at 8 p.m. I have to be to the airport 2 hours early, so I would take these biscuits out of the fridge and put them in a suitcase at 8 o'clock, and they wouldn't see a fridge again. Oh, I'd be at the airport for 2 hours, in the air for 10. Then I have to meet Tom at his work. That'd be another hour off the plane, hour to Tom's place. 12 hours out of the fridge?
Are they in the fridge at the supermarket?
Yes.
Could you get a cooling bag, maybe?
That's what I suggested.
Oh.
Well, I don't think
But he didn't seem sure on it.
I think the cargo holds are pressurized, but I don't think that I think they're cold. So that might help. I just don't know, like, customs wise, am I able to take that over, or will they see it in my bag and be like, "What the hell's this?
I can't leave the country without them.
I need my biscuits."
Cavity searches all round.
But in regard to his actual question, we are working on a way to do a video-based show. I don't know if we'll be able to do it live, but it'll definitely be interactive in some capacity. Not going to pull the curtain back on that. Tom and I are still working out the kinks on it. We got to get something from Samsung that doesn't explode.
Excellent.
Last question. Brian Ha. If you could choose one game to completely forget everything about so that you can experience the magic of a first playthrough again, which game would it be? Also, which game would you forget because it was complete shite?
I think we all know what I'm going to say.
I think we do too.
Go on.
Barbie supermodel.
I knew it!
I was going to go with Tetris.
No, Final Fantasy VII. All the way.
I'm going to take a different
And 8.
route.
And 9.
Well, he said 1.
I want to pick 3.
No. You can't alter the question.
I can't. I just did.
I initially thought Final Fantasy VIII, but then I thought about a game I would enjoy more, and that would be Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
Doing
Metal Gear
Skyrim
Solid
again
for me.
actually would be pretty good.
No, I mean, I don't think Skyrim would be as impactful because by then you've already, at least I'd already played 2 open world games very similar to it. So the only thing that was genuinely different was the setting and the mechanics. For me, Morrowind was the first truly sprawling open world game I'd played.
See, I had Oblivion for that, and it blew my mind.
Yeah.
Blew your mind to oblivion, you could say.
Ooh.
Oh, god damn it, you made a pun!
Metal Gear Solid for me. The
first
one on
one?
the PlayStation.
Ooh.
Yeah, on the PlayStation, because the first time through that, I absolutely loved it. But on the basis of that I could buy it and not rent it, because the first time I played Metal Gear Solid, I rented it. Now, you know there's the puzzle in the bit in there where the code is on the back of the disc.
Yes.
That was completely ruined for me, the idea of that puzzle, so to speak, because I rented it, and when obviously they don't give you the original case, and as she handed it over to me, she went, "Oh, there's one point in the game where you need a code off the back of the case, it's this."
Ugh.
So, like...
Well, consider yourself lucky, because I lost about 5 hours to that.
I mean,
trying to find something in the game world that would use it, and he has a disc in his items which don't have a code on. I'm like, what is it? Yeah. My friend from work actually got a Japanese import of Metal Gear Solid, so he had no idea what to do at this point. So, just on a whim, he decided, I will go through every single codec frequency. And it worked.
Oh.
Oh, man.
I wonder how long that took him.
Quite a while, I think.
Which game would you forget because it was shit?
Dino Crisis.
I was going to say Dino Crisis is up there. I think the worst thing about this being shit as well is the fact that I've held it in such high regard for so long, and I was so excited about finishing it. Am I there? Hello?
Aye.
Hello. I think the worst thing was, for me, is that I've held this in such high regard for so long and wanted to finish it, and I was excited about playing it for the show, and then it just shat on all of my dreams.
I apologize.
I quite like to forget Indigo Prophecy as well.
No way. Sex with dead people and giant bed bugs?
Yeah, I suppose it was.
And fighting your kitchen appliances? And kung fu battles with building bricks? Come on, Dan. The game's great.
It was fantastic. Such great plot.
I would choose Goof Troop.
God, Goof Troop.
Fuck that game. Game sucks. That's that. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to post.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, feel free to post them in the community. We generally put out a post a day in advance, maybe 2 days in advance for the show. I kind of like this. I feel like people are a little bit more apt to post a question than through an email. But if you still want to send us an email, factoryseal@manatank.com or facebook.com/factory/group/factoryseal podcast.
As long as we get questions, we don't care.
We don't care. Next show, we have another special guest. Dan C. Gilbert's going to be joining us to revise our thoughts on Link's Awakening.
Dan C. Gilbert. Dan C. Gilbert. Dan C. Gilbert. Dan C. Gilbert. Dan C. Gilbert.
Thanks, Mike.
You don't, Mike.
Somebody mute his microphone.
I'm giving him the introduction he deserves, I think.
Dan C. Gilbert.
Dan C. Gilbert played this on
Dan C. Gilbert
episode.
Dan C. Gilbert. Dan C. Gilbert.
You could do it to the Mount Coral. Dan C. Gilbert. Dan C. Gilbert. Sorry, Dan.
That's gonna be hours of fun next week. Dan C. Gilbert. Dan C. Gilbert. Dan C. Gilbert. Dan C. Gilbert. Dan C. Gilbert.
Gilbert. We played this episode 10 4.5 years ago.
I think I've set Mike off.
Oh, sorry. I'm good.
You good?
It's
Nice.
victories, victories, Dan C. Gilbert.
I'm nearly crying.
I'm done.
What have you done, Mike?
I'm sorry.
He's going to listen back to this now and just be like, "Oh God."
It's my inability to stop myself breaking out into song at random moments.
I forgot where I was. Oh, we played this.
I quite like Zelda, Dancy Gilbert.
Dancy Gilbert, Snake.
Dancy Gilbert. That's to say again.
I was waiting for you to tell me what the hell that was.
Didn't work as well as I tried.
Oh God, I was trying to think of the Green Hill music, and for some reason the Thomas the Tank Engine theme came in my head. I nearly did that.
Dancy Gilbert, Dancy Gilbert,
Dancy
Dancy
Gilbert.
Gilbert, Dancy Gilbert, Dancy Gilbert, Dancy Gilbert.
How about to the Final Fantasy victory? Dancy Gilbert. Dancy Gilbert, Dancy Gilbert, Dancy Gilbert, Dancy Gilbert. That was stupid.
Dancy Gilbert, Dancy Gilbert, Dancy Gilbert, Dancy Gilbert. That's Skyrim.
Fusro Gilbert.
Oh,
So
Dan, I
dumb.
apologise in advance for the show you're on.
Dancy Gilbert, Dancy Gilbert. Dancy Gilbert, Dancy Gilbert. Dancy Gilbert.
The hell are you singing?
Green Hill Song.
It's going to happen a lot next week. Okay, back to the actual thought. We played this episode 10, 4.5 years ago. Like 130 episodes ago.
That's enough time.
Yeah. With a different crew. It was me and Aaron and Jess.
Who?
Mike. It was Mike in his former life.
All right.
But Dan is going to join us to play this. Tom will be here. I think this will be the first time we've ever had a guest on that Tom is here.
There's still time for him to cancel.
Wait, I thought Tom had been mutilated by a velociraptor on Ibis Island.
He'll be in Poland again.
It's doing well for somebody who's been eviscerated by a velociraptor.
Yeah. We also have a giveaway for the next show.
Woo!
We have a copy of Link's Awakening on the Game Boy to give away. And we've devised yet another shit contest for you. All you have to do for this contest to win your very own copy of Link's Awakening on the Game Boy is construct your own homemade Triforce. The shittier the better.
But don't make it out of shit.
Well, you could.
Please don't.
Please do.
Please don't.
In the toilet.
That would be impressive.
It'd be like 2 days worth of poop. That's that.
What? Yeah.
What?
It's just, we'll put out the details later, I think.
No, those are the details. Just we'll post something on the old face box, and you put your picture down below, and then we'll decide who has the shittiest Triforce.
Excellent.
And you will win a copy.
Which is another great reason to join our Facebook group, if
Yeah.
you're not there already. So you can enter the competition.
You can win free stuff. Are we going to do another Jeeves box for Christmas this year?
Oh, I would have thought so.
I don't think we can reach out to our special guests, though. 'Cause we already did that once.
We've got special guest listeners this year.
You give us stuff.
Dan C. Gilbert, you must record a song.
Believe it or not, I think he's actually a music teacher.
Oh, he is, isn't he?
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Because he uploaded that his band covering the Toe Jam and Earl music.
Yes, he did.
Oh, dear.
But he's got a new sound now.
I'm not going to listen to the Final Fantasy theme for a while and not hear that. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week.
Do we not want to read out our new reviews?
Do we have any?
Well, you didn't read them last time.
Well, I don't remember. If you
We
want
had
to,
this
go ahead,
discussion
Dan.
before we started.
If you have not, please leave us a review on the old iTunes. It does help us out, and it does make us feel quite warm and fuzzy on the inside.
It did, and loads of people actually did some really nice ones last time.
Yeah, we went up, 11 reviews?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And if you do
guys...
like Dino Crisis, please don't go back and delete your review.
Okay, Dan, go ahead.
I'm not reading them all out. You have to log in so you can see them.
So log
the
in.
The first one is from the Good Ship 88, which is from... Oh, what's her name?
What?
What's her name? I forgot.
Oh, Juliet.
Juliet
Breslin.
Sorry, Juliet. I had a bit of a brain fart. She's given us 5 stars. Thank you very much. It says, Factory Sale, the game podcast you'll want to unwrap. Factory Sale is the game podcast you've always wanted but didn't know until you found it. No, they don't talk about games the whole time you're listening, or at all. But when they do talk about the one or more games that they played for each episode, it's that much more engaging because you feel connected to them after listening to the hilarious antics that they fill the rest of the airtime with. I definitely recommend listening to this podcast at some point. It's guaranteed to make you laugh out loud, even if you're in public. And as you go along for the crazy ride, you get awesome gaming commentary as well. It's just that much fun.
Oh,
It's a good one.
Thank you so much.
Donkey Shine.
It's a good one. Mr. Squishy, which is a great name, says, the greatest group of friends you may never meet. They are not always on topic, but the crew is always having fun. Mike Tyson is an amazing recent addition to the crew.
Woo!
Daniel Curtis saved the show and reminds us every episode. Tom Reagan is always entertaining when he's on, might be a jest. And finally, the leader, Eric Peterson. What to say about the fearless leader? I guess when in doubt, he'll startle his way across the US.
I think that
means straddle.
Yeah.
Great show, guys. Keep up the good work.
I mean, you got to command something, and to command it properly, you have to put it between your legs.
Correct. Somebody called Dan C. Gilbert says
I wonder who wrote this one.
says
Dan, can you please sing this one?
No, please don't, because he will do it.
Factory sealed, or how I survived my alky boots to work. I began listening to this podcast almost 6 months ago, not knowing what to expect, and find myself 6 months later not being able to picture a world without Factory Sealed. Wait until you listen to this one, that might change. A well-rounded podcast with equal amounts of spontaneity, silliness, wisdom and fun. All of the hosts, that means Aaron too, have wonderful insight into retro/modern video games and video game history/trivia, and pop culture in general. But the fun doesn't stop there. The hosts' discussion of their own lives, from their kids and relationships to the different names of products, sports or games from around the world, e.g. kickball/kicky rounders/soccer/baseball, and the Great Biscuit Debate, really helps the listener connect with the hosts. If you appreciate offhand humour, video games generally, and laughing at other people's misfortune, this podcast is definitely worth your while. On a scale to Jess's completion rate of video games to Dan's constant reminder that he saved the show, I give this podcast a solid not shite.
Excellent.
Jeremy Lucas said, Jeeves, ask Jeeves to write a review for me. If thou enjoys rants regarding anything relating to everything sans video games, find thyself ponder if ye shall sit or stand, relate to an abundance of butlers, enjoy having your grammar checked, thou may enjoy aforementioned podcast offered once each fortnight. Thank you, Jeeves. Tell Jeeves I'll take it from here. In all honesty, I love this podcast and the guys that run it. They love their listeners and have a built-in, wonderful, fun and engaging community. Start from episode 1 and work your way up. Pro tip, skip Toronto Batman. It's a blast to play along with as they play quick classics like Diddy Kong Racing or epics such as Final Fantasy VII. The dynamic between host Eric from America and Dan, Tom, and new addition Mike from the UK makes for the most entertaining of conversations.
Pip, pip.
Woo!
Now, this is a guy called Tortrick, who I'm not sure who this is, because I don't think he's on our Facebook.
Maybe he's got good-looking toes for you, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
We all know you like that.
He's actually said, great first impression.
Ooh, so he's new.
So, just listened to episode 136, and I very much enjoyed the in-depth discussion on Crash Bandicoot and Shadowrun. I found this podcast by searching retro gaming and very pleased with my first listen. I enjoy the dynamic between the hosts and the comedy suits me well. I highly recommend this podcast to any retro gamers out there as I listened to 136. 137 was posted, so I'm now listening. So, that's that one. Thank you very much.
You've chose a good time to start, Toe Trick, because now I'm here, so...
Stop.
He enhanced this show.
I completed the show.
Monty Glover, Montague himself.
Montgomery Gloverton.
The migraine giver.
Says a brilliant program. After having given every episode at least one go through and some episodes more than that, I can attest that this is a fantastic podcast. The camaraderie of the host reveals a close-knit group of friends that oftentimes it's easy to feel like you're sitting at a table discussing games with friends. If you enjoy retro gaming and utter nonsense, I strongly recommend this show. Now, I really like this one because that is the vibe we go for.
Yeah.
We are. We're just a bunch of numpties talking about games, you know? That's all we are. So.
And Monty actually said that after he was on the show as well. He said about the, it feels like sitting down with a group of friends. And, the fact that he said that as a listener and being a part of it really goes to show that that is the case.
Well, I think that's the one thing that we really work towards is kind of the whole philosophy behind it was being at the lunch table with your buddies at school when you only have about 30 minutes to just pound through all the games that you've been talking about and just kind of flesh that concept out instead of having a formal formula for every show with notes. Just want to have fun.
We do. Next one is from Brendan Connolly, and he says the best of the best. Top-notch retro gaming podcast, very passionate hosts who have great fun with each other, which comes across very well on the show. They select and play through an old game for every episode. Also attached is a very fun community of listeners. Keep going for another 20 years, guys.
God, don't
20 years, man.
Don't tempt us. We're rolling up on 5 years next month.
Wow.
I think our first show was September 12th. Oof.
We should probably have a commemorative episode or something.
Yeah, September 5th, actually.
Wow.
So we'll have a show.
That was when you had one episode every 6 months, right?
We started semi-regularly.
Then didn't.
And then we took 6 months off.
Yes.
And then another 3.
And so our final new review comes from a gentleman called Shannibal Lecter, who says, it's like hanging out with your friends and talking about your childhood games. Fun podcast. It just feels like you're hanging out with your buddies, remembering and replaying the games you loved in the 80s and 90s. Pretty interactive with the listeners, so you can feel like part of the show as long as you're willing to participate. Plus, you get to pick up new European slang. That's nifty.
I'm going to guess that's Shannon McIntosh.
Yes, I would have thought so.
Yeah. Good one.
And that is it for new reviews. If you want to join in with those, we like to get them and they make us feel good. So leave us one on the iTunes, please.
Thank you for all of those, everybody.
Yes, really.
They're fantastic.
We asked for some on Facebook and you've responded in droves. So
that's really the thing that keeps us going, though, is knowing that people enjoy what we're doing. And obviously we see that people are downloading the show, but to get that feedback and just like, hey, you guys really like what you're doing, it just kind of puts that intrinsic drive to want to keep going.
Eric Peterson is right.
Am I? I don't think you've ever said that. I'm going to isolate that.
No, I said you were right for Dark Cloud.
Oh, yeah, you were. But I'm going to still isolate that, and then I'm just going to randomly put it into different parts of the show where you disagree with me. I'm going to cut out your thought and just put that in.
Surely that requires some kind of editing skill.
And effort. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week. Keep an eye on the Facebook page for the details on the giveaway. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks it is.
Chew. Hopefully Tom will be back by then. He surprisingly didn't get thrown under the bus much this week.
No, not really.
Yeah, so...
He did say he got eaten on an island. But
yeah. Poor Tom. So, if you're
we
listening
will
to
also
us...
be joined by the musical superstar Dan C. Gilbert. And the song and the entire show may well be just Dan C. Gilbert songs. We have 2 weeks to plan them.
It's going to be a rock opera. All right, guys. We will see you all in 2 weeks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.